race against time. It's like that moment where you think, all right, am I going to stretch for another 10 minutes or am I going to sleep for another 10 minutes? Like, it was just constant. And for us, Sal, because it's kind of 35 degrees out here in Rome, the hydration was a challenge. Like, literally just getting enough water into the system.
The humidity was really bad here as well in Rome.
You can't do that when you're asleep. Like, you can't sacrifice hydration. We're live. Day and night, I toss and turn, I keep stressing my mind. What? I look for peace, but see I don't attain. What I need for keeps this silly game we play. Game night.
That's some serious robot.
That would have been the 20 minutes there. I would have improv straight off that. So today we're all a bit worse for wear because it's the morning after the challenge before. So we're going to talk about what we've all just completed, which is, I call it the 4x4. I don't know what the official name is. Basically, every 4 hours you run 4 miles, 6.4 kilometers. And you do that 12 times. So you finish after 44 and a half hours, more or less. But it's for a 2-day chunk, so 12.
4x4x48, James.
Yeah, that's what you'd like to say, but I don't count the final rest. So 4x4x48, whatever. It's a challenge that I think, from as far as we can see, was invented by the savage David Goggins, and has been taken up around the world by various individuals, including Lex Friedman, who we spoke about last time. And so we decided to give it a try. So we've had this date. Well, the date that has just passed, circled on the calendar for a few months now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took quite some planning to fit it into all our schedules. We're so busy, incredible.
So yeah, day and night it was, day and night.
Because the original challenge, I think, was back in March or in May, right? Because I think there's an official day where they do it officially, and he gives away T-shirts and stuff on that day.
Okay.
If you upload it and tag it. But then people like us, like ourselves, they do it all year long. So it's not really, you don't have to do it on that day, obviously. So it's like a holiday. So we just did it a few months later.
Independence Day. So I suppose the first question is, for anything you do, is why? So, Sal, why?
Still wondering myself now. You're asking me that question. I still haven't contemplated that. But, okay, let me think here. I'm thinking in real time.
I have a fairly good ready.
Okay, then you go first.
I'd say it's because, well, James and I usually do an event once a year. We do the marathon. You're struggling to hear me, James? You okay?
Yeah, a little bit. You're phasing in and out, but keep going.
Can you hear me, Sal?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, man. Yeah, so we usually do an event once a year on average. I mean, sometimes when I come over, we do a small race, whatever's going on in Rome, don't we? But I thought this would be a good way when we're all trees to muck in on something together and get that feel. Because if you went out and ran a marathon, you both did it the same day, I don't know, I guess you get the feel of it, but it's not quite the same, is it? Whereas this is like something where...
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
We were all checking in with one another after and getting up in the night, and
it was beautiful.
So it was a nice together activity you can do in different countries.
Definitely. I mean, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but I learned a lot about scientific tools and how to put them into action under duress, under stressful situations. But most of all, I'd say the number one thing that I learned, that I knew, but that I definitely had reconfirmed, was that we are group animals, you know, because when that alarm went off at 4:10 Saturday morning for I think that was number 9. Yeah, that was the 9th run. So I was already exhausted. And there was a moment I thought, nah, this is silly. And then the next moment I thought, no, but Sal and Den are in, you know, and there was that group environment that really pushed me through. And then, of course, after the runs, we were posting on our little WhatsApp group our screenshots of our...
Maybe we should explain for everybody who doesn't know how it works, 4 a.m. in the morning, what it means, because basically...
go on, Sal.
Since you said that, every 4 hours you have to run 4 miles, which is roughly 6.44 kilometers, not so roughly. You have to set a starting time, and from that starting time on, basically you have a schedule that tells you when you have to go running again. So we decided to start at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday evening. So that we have, the idea was that after a 48-hour circle, 48 hours counting like the time frame complete, not necessarily the complete time that was that we were running, that we would finish on Saturday night. So we could have the Sunday as a rest day and Saturday evening to go party, which I don't think anybody
did, right.
after that. And so it happens that if you start at 8:30 p.m., the next run is at 12:30 a.m. in the morning, then 4:30 in the morning, then 8:30 in the morning, and so on. So, James, that's what you were referring to. By the way,
right, yeah.
You jumped over.
Right.
You jumped over your own question. Why did you actually partake in this, or why did you think of this challenge?
When you asked me, when I asked that question, I was hoping to be asked. That's all my questions are directed like that. No, it's a good one actually. And when I was working with some teachers the other day, and I was telling them about this, and they said, "Why? You know, because people genuinely don't understand why. It's not an academic question. They're genuinely confused about why you would put your body and mind through such a thing. And it's the best question to ask. And the answer is because I need a challenge. We live in our comfort zone 99% of the time. And challenges like this really get me going, you know, really turn me on. Not sexually, but they really get my juices flowing, as it were. They push me to places that I never visit in my day-to-day life, and that's why I love doing them. Because then you come back. It's like the typical. It's like the archetype of the hero story, right? That Joseph Campbell talks about. That you're in your comfort zone. Let's take a film example, Lord of the Rings. You're in your comfort zone. You're in the Shire. You go to Mordor. You go to hell. Right? You do what you need to do, and you come back to your comfort zone. You come back to the Shire, transformed in some small way, but some important way. You appreciate things that you didn't appreciate before, like, I don't know, sleep. Like friends, you know, I've always appreciated you two as friends, but when there's those moments where you think, I think I'm going to give up now, you think, no, because these two are pulling me along, or we're pulling and pushing each other along, you know, that's a powerful thing. And they're things that you don't get pushed into your face in everyday life. That's why I love it.
Do you feel transformed?
Mate, it's not like it's not a one-day thing. I think you need to push yourself hard every now and again, just to have something to refer back to. Maybe that's a better way of thinking about it. You know, when you're struggling next week at work, you think, "Am I struggling though?" Because I was struggling at 4:30 on Saturday morning. I was struggling. And it just gives you that perspective on every other difficulty that you have.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's a deeper reason why you do that. Yeah, why you do these things. And
also for the abdominals.
When you choose to put yourself through stress like that, I guess it gets you prepared for times when stress comes along, involuntarily, but because you're sort of in that. You're in that. You've been there more recently than you would have been if you'd have just sat on the sofa all the time. Then you're better prepared when the situations come along. Yeah.
So what was the hardest for you guys in this 48-hour window? Even though if we want to be technical, we use a 44.5 hour window, but I don't want to get nerdy. What was the hardest for you?
The hardest run?
No, the hardest during this entire period, including also the rest periods. Like, what was the hardest? Maybe getting up, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, also maybe you want to get technical about the running itself, that, you know, after a while you got sore or something. But generally, what was, or if there's a few points, what was the hardest for you guys?
I'd say the toughest thing was, ripping yourself off the mattress. Obviously, you guys are an hour ahead of me. So ripping yourself off the mattress at 3 a.m. to get out and run is quite tough. But I didn't find it too hard. I woke up and I always find when you hit the snooze button is when it's harder to get out of bed. And you wake up, if everything's going to 3 a.m., you feel really tired. You look at the clock and then you remember why. We're doing this. And then you just get up and sort of dots around. You know, I like to wake up half hour before and just kind of loosen up and maybe sit on the lav and get prepared, and then I'd say that was the toughest part of it. But I did say to James yesterday, we spoke after. Once you get kind of a quarter of a mile into it, you take those first steps out the door, and obviously your legs are aching. This is kind of, if you don't run, you don't expect this, but if your legs are aching, you get a quarter mile in and they're not really aching anymore. Everything just loosens up and you roll in, and that's what's pretty cool about it. And I don't know whether this will be a question we'll come to later, but the tough thing I didn't expect, which is just stupid of me, was how small a gap you get between the evening. And like you were saying, Sarah, you come home, you're covered in sweat, so you can't just come in, lie on the sofa, go to sleep. And also, I was being sure I stretched in between, which was quite tough at night, getting in and making sure you stretch and not thinking I want to get to sleep, so I get 3 hours sleep and not 2. So I get in, stretch, have a quick shower, stretch, and then by the time you go to sleep and then you wake up, like I say, I kind of need half hour before I go anywhere. I mean, that's only 2 hours sleep in between. And I think I did have in my consciousness where we spoke about sleep the other day, these 3 hour pockets, and I kind of thought, well, that would be quite handy. 3 hour pockets, which was it Andrew Huberman?
Yeah, so they're
the sleep cycle based on other.
That's it. Ultradian rhythm. So 90 minutes. We sleep in 90-minute chunks. So it's better to try to sleep if you're going to be sleep deprived in factors of 90. So 90 or 180 or 270. That's what we were going for. Yeah. Sorry, Dan, go on, mate.
No, I didn't realise that. I'd have done an hour and a half in between. I don't know. I just thought the 2 hours was kind of imagined. Oh, you get up, you run, because you've got 4 hours between. You get up, you run, and then you get 3 hours sleep in between. And then, so if I do 2 pockets of that, I'll have 6 a night, and then I don't know, 6 turns to 4, and it also seems a bit harder. And also, I think the daylight. I mean, I know this as well, but it's a real life example. The daylight makes such a difference to how awake you are, because I didn't really feel that tired in the day, and you're kind of waiting around for the next one because you can't do too much. Obviously, in the 2.5 hours, you can't plan to do too much. So, I kind of anticipate I'd be really tired in the day and just be sleeping in between as well. But I just didn't feel that tired during the day, and then it was during the night when the night comes in, you start feeling real like you want to dip off. So, yeah, it's and also, I mean, Sal, sounds like you were sort of going about your daily tasks in between, which I commend you for, because I was doing nothing. I was eating Haribo and crisps in between. I got in from the runs, but I didn't feel as tired as I thought I would. And also, the same thing, it's hard to feel tired when you're actually running, when the blood gets pumping. Yeah. It's not as if you really run and yawn, do you? Once you're doing it, you kind of get into it. And I was very hesitant of getting any niggles, because I remember years ago we ran quite unprepared. I didn't really do any specific training for it. There was one run where there was one day I thought I'm going to start running 4 miles in the morning and 4 hours in the evening just to get used to those kind of 2 a days. And my hip really hurt, and I thought, this is going to be really tough.
Your hip?
My hip hurt. On the second run, my hip hurt. And then I did buy some new trainers, because I thought maybe the whole foot thing where your trainers wear down, and then you're kind of running, your bad tendencies kind of get worse because your trainers are actually worn down to tailor for your bad tendencies. But I bought some new trainers and I was running on them after, and I felt good, so I felt like that wasn't so much of a worry. But I did think, I'm just going to really take it easy for the first lot of runs. And definitely with our times, because we were all posting it. I mean, we weren't posting in about the times, were we? It was almost just proof that we'd run it, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate. Well, it really was just checking up that everyone was home.
Just checking in. Yeah, it wasn't anything to do with the time, but I could see the times you guys were getting around that I was running a lot slower than the first ones. But like I say, it was just a nice rhythm I found. It was just slow. My feet were rolling, because there is a point where you run too slow and it's just uncomfortable. You kind of feel like your feet are just juddering on the floor. But I didn't feel like that. I just had a slow bounce, and I was kind of landing softly, but not too slow. So yeah, I was getting around in sort of 9.5 minute miles, and it felt good. And then on the last few, I just kind of thought, I don't want to. So what I was saying was, when we ran to Brighton back, James, that time unprepared, I was
50 miles, Salays, for reference.
50 miles, yeah. And it was kind of over a long period, wasn't it? It wasn't if we just straight ran it.
No, we left at 6 a.m. I think we got back at 7 p.m. It was an all-dayer. Yeah, we stopped for lunch and all sorts.
15 miles.
50.
Yeah, crazy.
We'll be talking about 15 miles. What do you think this is?
But I got injured after that, and it just annoyed me. I thought, was that worth getting injured for? Like, I don't mind on the marathon. You put your all into the day. You prepare for it. You put your all in today, and you pick up an injury. That's fine, you know. Yeah. I don't mind that so much. Even that annoys me, but I don't mind it so much. But these kind of like little rogue events, if you injure yourself on it and then you can't run, I just like running day to day. It's my favourite thing about it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like having that tool in the bag to lift my spirits. So if I can't do that, it's just really annoying. So I just went out slowly, and then towards the end, I felt a bit tasty. And also, I feel like you kind of run on different muscles when you run slow and run quick. So it's almost like I unlocked a new lot of muscles in the last sort of 4 runs because I just upped the pace, you know.
Dan, can I ask you? Well, what did you? were you late for a train or something for the last one? It was absolutely rocket. It was like 7 minute miles.
It was, but if
it was chased by a pit bull.
I really went for it. I got rid of everything, and if I was fresh and going for it, I'd get around quicker than that. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad. Even the penultimate one was quite a lot quicker than all the others have been.
That was awesome.
After the 40-mile mark, man, it was incredible.
So what was your biggest challenge, James?
Well, I'd really echo Den. I mean, the hardest thing, and this surprised me a lot, it was a running challenge. The hardest thing was everything except the running.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's incredible, right? You start running, like the first few steps, I get around the block, get to the park, I thought, I feel absolutely awful. You know, I'm like a tin man. I can't, my quads are just burning, and it's like bang, bang, horrible. But then after about a couple of minutes, everything loosens up again. I'm just rolling, boom, 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 got some good music in. Thanks to Sugar Sean Jordan for some recommendations. I had some DMX, I had some Eminem, I had some really interesting podcasts. I was listening to some great stuff. The hardest thing was not running. So as Den said, the race against time, it's like that moment you think, all right, am I going to stretch for another 10 minutes or am I going to sleep for another 10 minutes? Like, it was just constant. And for us, Sal, because it's kind of 35 degrees out here in Rome, the hydration was a challenge. Like, literally just getting enough water into the system.
The humidity was really bad here as well in Rome.
You can't do that when you're asleep. Like, you can't sacrifice hydration. Like, I'd rather drink for 15 minutes than sleep for the next 15 minutes in the long. But it was just like that. It was like, I really enjoyed it. I actually hit a real sweet spot yesterday, like on the last few, not with my running, but actually in between times. I wrote about 1,000 words of an essay that I'm working on. Felt pretty there. But yeah, that was, funnily enough, the hardest thing was not running.
Well, that's what Goggins said in a video that I watched way too late. I should have watched it before the whole competition, I guess. And I also saw some videos. I also saw some videos and I read some articles about how to prepare for it and mistakes to avoid. And I saw it only later. But Goggins was like, get your logistics set up properly before doing the challenge. For example, he said at night, make sure you're safe. The boogeyman comes out at night and stuff like that. He says it in a very funny way. But it's true. Like for me, the hardest thing was for me to actually have dry, fresh clothes available at all times. Because since in Rome you sweat, like probably everywhere, everybody sweats. But it was really hot and humid in Rome.
Oh my God.
That basically after 5 minutes, I was soaking wet. And so, doing the whole round, every time I need to,
Yeah. Carry on.
Getting distracted. Anyway, but yeah, several logistical challenges there for sure.
Can we touch on because we maybe talked about the spiritual side, the social side of it, but as I mentioned before, and I think you can explain this a lot better than I, it was a great exercise in putting into practice a lot of things that we've learned from Andrew Huberman's podcast. So there's two things you want to do, right? You want to get yourself ramped up very quickly, like let's say at 4:15 a.m. when you don't really fancy it. You want to get ramped up. You want to get waken up. This is how sleep deprived I am. Irregular verbs. Woken up. You want to get woken up quickly. And then, of course, because you want to sleep after, you want to go down. You want to go down as quickly as possible. And so there were a few tools that we used, right? Right. So to get ramped up, Sal, what was in your toolbox?
Well, first of all, if you want to mess up your circadian rhythm, which is the 24-hour cycle that your sleep and wakeness is being, let's say, conditioned by, this is the perfect challenge to do so. There's certain tools that Huberman talks about. For example, if you want to activate your sympathetic nervous system or your nervous system in general, and one great way in the morning is, and also to kind of anchor it to the circadian rhythm so that you get up in the right time in the morning regularly and have the right energies and therefore have the right chemicals being released, is sunlight exposure. I mean, I don't think we had that problem when we were running outside in the morning because we got sunlight
was the best
exposure. Also exercise, which I guess was not a problem in the evening because it raises your body temperature, which then again also partially contributes to activating your the right chemicals. Cold showers, that's something that is very good for activating everything and having focus and having the right energies. And fasting actually is something that I used partially, but here it's already very tricky because you cannot really time that very well because you're really burning through a lot of energy here, so you cannot really fast for too long. I tried also eating itself. It's very problematic if you do it too late because you shouldn't be eating half an hour before you run.
So Sal, on that point, I actually, I mean, I was willing to be flexible, but I actually stuck to my 8-hour window from about 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I just drank, and I drank a hell of a lot in between electrolytes and whatever, but I didn't eat anymore. I felt fine, but that's kind of my thing. Like, if I eat too much, my stomach feels awful.
No, so did I. I made sure though that when I ate like really a lot of carbs, so pasta and all that shebang. The problem is then in the evening when you actually want to contribute to your nervous system kind of cooling down and taking warm showers to make you more tired and eating a bit more, because then you're doing everything exactly the opposite way than you should. You're exercising late or at night, so you're kind of activating and raising your body temperature. So it's tricky and you cannot really apply it, but you can do certain things. If I wanted to sleep between two runs, I would take a warm shower for sure.
Yes.
For example, that's like one thing I could do.
And that's something that sounds counterintuitive, right? Because because of course you need to lower your body temperature in order to sleep well. And I think, well, why would you take a hot shower? And Huberman explains it perfectly. It says because your body, as soon as you get out of that hot shower, will react by dumping heat.
Correct.
And then that's when your body temperature falls and you can sleep like a baby.
Also, the non-sleep deep rest protocols, like this kind of meditation-like protocols, were very useful if I had to sleep quickly for these 90 minutes or 180 minutes if I could. These are things that come to mind off the top of my head.
Yeah, for sure, man. But it was like a great 2-day training session on all those things, right?
Totally. I mean, now the real training session begins to see if we can apply all these protocols to actually get back into a normal circadian rhythm, because now mine is totally messed up. I got up at 3 a.m. this morning. You got up at night as well. 5 o'clock. Everybody got up in the morning. I see Dennis is freshly on coffee. He's very energetic.
No, I would have slept longer if it wasn't a phone call.
If I didn't ring him.
Sleep-deprived men would respect that, but no, the phone was ringing.
Wait, guys, on recovery, a couple of things that really helped me as well, muscularly. So we can talk about the cognitive side of it, blah, 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 but muscularly, just pure fibers. Got the old foam roller here. And also, I had great fun with this, and not in ways that you're thinking, Sal. You got one of these then, haven't you?
Yeah, I was nursing the hip with it actually.
Bloody brilliant! Like a deep massage, just roll, up and down. So especially for me, the quads. But those two things, bit of stretching. Yeah, I felt alright. I mean, the last few for the quads were absolutely trash, but I accepted that at the beginning. It's like the gladiator scene. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you came? You don't sign up for something like that blind to the fact that you're going to be destroying your body. That's just the fact of life. So you just got to accept it and
I quite like
deal with it.
There's a feeling I enjoy after a marathon, after a big event. And what was funny, you get this, what was I saying to you yesterday, James? Well, like, so when you run hard, if I run hard just off my own back and I go out and I do like a half, 13 mile at the weekend or something, my legs feel achy and I feel good. Obviously, the endorphins are pumping. But when you do a big race and you do a marathon and you run hard for that amount of time, I don't usually do that in training. And parts of you ache, like your back aches and things like that you think, oh, that's just because you've been in the zone, you don't realise. But the good thing about this was it kind of crept up on me, that feeling, like, because you've got the time in between, and towards the later ones I started to think, oh yeah, my kind of shoulders are starting to ache and stuff like that, because it's just from, I guess it's from getting that momentum from running, and you feel it more in the hard runs. So that's what I quite liked about it. It kind of crept up on me, that feeling, whereas every other time I've had it, you do a hard race and you're not aware of it, and then at the end you think, oh yeah, I've got all these special aches. So it's nice to feel like that in a
it was. You could it was like feel it. You could feel everything in like slow motion. You had that time to reflect and that time for the body to be telling you things. And
so I think we have to wrap it up pretty soon. But
I want to ask you. I want to ask you one question.
Absolutely.
There was one where you posted in, you were back a bit later than us, and I kind of thought, oh no, it's Sal feeling it. Is this a decline? But what happened on that one? Because you pulled it right back in the next one, and then all the times were consistent again.
Yeah, on that one.
Do you remember?
Which one was that, Sal? Sorry.
I do remember.
12:30.
I don't remember the time.
I think it was 12:30. So, we still got a while to go here, and we're getting into the night. Like this. I
think I was getting fatigued on that one because events happened against my plans that would not allow me to rest before that run, because I really wanted to rest a little bit before that run, and so I think I just got really fatigued, and so I really had to slow it down quite a lot.
Yeah,
but that's good. That's nice, because the next one you were right as rain.
No, and the next one I got then some sleep in, and all of a sudden everything was not, I wouldn't say fine, but was much
kept
better.
It together.
Also,
it's good if someone's doing it to know that if they flag on one, I mean that's the rest of them after that you were absolutely fine. Times were consistent again.
Yeah, I think on that one I was 10 minutes slower than all the other ones. I think that was kind of the
10 minutes. Yeah, it was
anomaly compared to the other ones.
All right, guys. Sorry, I'm really busy today. I've got to go and sit by a pool now.
Such a busy person. And knowing you're gonna try to find a challenge. So let's see who can dive deeper and longer.
I might do 100 lengths. I'm not saying no. But that's not on the schedule.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure and an honor.
Thanks for this shared experience.
Do a David Goggins impression, someone.
No.
I don't know if it's well enough.
I haven't got enough energy for that. Even 5 seconds.
He just swears a lot, doesn't he? Fuck.
Yeah. Stop being a little beep. All right. I was looking for a more spiritual side to this challenge. All right, guys.
Okay, man.
Good job. Enjoy the rest.
Take care, everyone.
Peace.